The Sussexes dumped by the Kardashians. It's over. Now, the scandal surrounding Harry and Meghan's train wreck appearance at the Showbiz Party of the Year worsens with the news that the Kardashian family...
They did not agree to having their photos taken. However, sources from the event say there were no consent forms. We weren't having people
wear pictures of Meghan and Harry at Kris Jenner's birthday party, only that Kim Kardashian deleted them for, I don't know, reasons. The check bounced or something like that.
Meghan said she loves privacy, but somehow she started the biggest photo scandal Hollywood has seen this year. How do you delete pictures from a party you begged to be photographed at? Make it make sense.
So the most likely truth to this scenario is that Harry and Meghan asked for the photos to be taken down because they did not explicitly consent to photos being posted on someone else's social media.
Hollywood loves a spectacle, but nobody expected Kris Jenner's 70th birthday to turn into the social earthquake that rippled through Montecito, Calabasas, and every gossip page in between.
And what should have been a happy occasion has been beset with negative headlines and a toxic narrative, all thanks to, poor Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire.
What should have been a night celebrating Kris's legacy. Decades of dominance, reinvention, and reality TV royalty quickly turned into a PR battlefield centered around one couple who somehow managed to bring drama wherever they go. Photos were snapped, poses were struck, social media buzzed, but within hours, the narrative flipped upside down.
Because they did not explicitly sign something that said, yes, I agree to be photographed and I am aware I will be photographed inside this venue, because of that, they asked for the photos to be taken down.
Here's where the whole thing truly went off the rails. The second people started questioning why the photos from Kris Jenner's party kept disappearing like Snapchat messages. Meghan's team rushed into damage control mode, and in classic Sussex fashion, instead of telling the simple truth, they reached for the most dramatic explanation possible. Suddenly, there was talk of a privacy agreement Meghan and Harry claimed everyone at the party had to respect.
The charity that Harry was the face of was completely beset with bullying allegations. That is basically now a public relations dumpster fire and a complete disaster for Harry. African Parks, another charity.
Their version of the story went like this. Kris's people posted photos without permission, Meghan was blindsided, and the pictures had to come down. Sounds neat, tidy, and convenient, right? Almost too convenient. And that's because it wasn't true.
Invited to this party and would therefore assume this is the Kardashians we're talking about. This is someone's birthday party. You should assume that you will be photographed, that you could be photographed. And if you stand and pose for a picture with the Kardashians.
Sources close to the Jenner camp didn't even bother whispering. They flat out said the claim was nonsense. There was no agreement, no signatures, no precautions, nothing. If anything, the Kardashians were stunned that Meghan tried to spin the situation back on them. One insider even joked, "A consent form? At a Kardashian party? Please, the only paper we sign around here is the bill."
Riven with allegations of incompetence, cruelty, and corruption. The Invictus Games, which many of the veterans don't want Harry and Meghan to be the face of that event, and I would have thought many veterans.
What actually happened was embarrassingly simple. Meghan wanted the photos up, until she didn't. And instead of admitting she panicked when the reactions weren't glowing, she tried to flip the script and act like the Kardashians broke some imaginary rule. But Hollywood isn't dim. They saw right through it. And once Kris realized Meghan was trying to pin a lie on her family, the mood shifted instantly.
Do whatever they want with it. So if you pose for a photograph, especially with the likes of a reality TV star like Kim Kardashian,
Meghan wanted those photos posted. Badly. The whole night, she floated around Kris's party like she was shooting a Vanity Fair cover. Every camera, every ring light, every iPhone pointed her way. She leaned in. At one point, she even nudged Harry to stand taller, which only made him look more lost.
I really don't want Harry and Meghan to be involved following the party this weekend, where Meghan snubbed the veterans. Then, of course, there was the Oprah interview in which the couple accused the royal family of being RACISTS.
So when the Kardashians team snapped a few harmless group shots and threw them online, Meghan wasn't blindsided. She was thrilled. This was exactly what she wanted. Proof she was circulating in the highest, hottest Hollywood circles. Proof that she still mattered in rooms where relevance evaporates fast. But the internet didn't react the way she expected.
So that would mean that the Kardashians did a huge courtesy to Harry and Meghan by taking it down. But think about the tone of that conversation. It can kind of send the message that, yes, we wanted to come to your party.
Within minutes, people were zooming in, dragging her outfit, questioning Harry's glazed-over expression, and mocking how forced the smiles looked. It wasn't cruel, just honest. The kind of honesty Meghan hates. Suddenly, the buzz she craved turned sour.
Yes, we wanted to come to your party, and we wanted to network with the other wealthy people there.
And that's when everything flipped. From inside the party, her team fired messages like smoke signals. Take down the pictures, now. Not later, not gently, right now. The same photos she'd practically positioned herself into became an emergency.
Of being RACISTS. Harry and Meghan are just bad news for anyone's public relations. They are a bad headline machine. Now, the storm surrounding the disappearance of photographs showing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Harry, apparently realizing how bad the commentary looked, joined the panic. Between the two of them, it became a scramble to erase any image that didn't match the version of themselves they wanted the world to see. But Hollywood noticed something. Only people hiding something try to control the photos.
The Kardashians. That's kind of the vibe that it gives. The looking down the nose at someone of, I don't want my photograph posted on social media.
This was the moment the whole thing exploded. 1 minute, the photos of Meghan and Harry at Kris Jenner's birthday were up, circulating, doing exactly what Meghan wanted them to do, and then, boom, they were gone. Vanished. Deleted like they never existed. Fans were confused. Gossip pages were confused. Even the Kardashian editors were confused. The only people who weren't confused were Meghan's team. Because they were the ones frantically pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Inside the party, on your social media. Like, that's kind of an insulting thing to do. Because as I said, if you stand and pose for a photograph with people, then, unless it's on your camera, that is no longer your property. So don't stand and pose for the pictures like they did. I don't understand what Harry and Meghan could have possibly been thinking.
And here's where it gets chaotic. First, Meghan wanted the photos removed because the comments weren't flattering. Then Harry supposedly stepped in with his own reason. He didn't want the royal family upset, as if William and Charles were sitting in London refreshing Kim Kardashian's Instagram page, please.
She is offended by this, and she does not appreciate how the Sussexes have handled this, especially them leaking to People magazine.
Insiders say the real reason was far more embarrassing. Meghan hated how she looked. Harry hated how he looked. And neither of them could handle losing control of the narrative the Kardashians post what they want. Meghan, however, thinks everything needs to be curated like she's still running her old lifestyle blog.
That is a manipulation of the truth, because if there are no consent forms for any guests, then that's just Harry and Meghan saying, well, we didn't explicitly give permission, we didn't sign anything that said we were allowed to be photographed, therefore.
When the photos started disappearing, Hollywood noticed instantly. Nothing draws attention faster than a deletion spree. People began asking why the Sussexes were panicking over harmless party pictures. What were they trying to hide? Why did Meghan look thrilled to be photographed 1 second and devastated the next? The deletions didn't protect them, they magnified everything.
Reportedly left the Kardashian clan bewildered, angry, and upset. So the Kardashians are bewildered, angry, and upset. It's like that song, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered.
If there's one group you never want to annoy in Hollywood, it's the Kardashians. They don't fight quietly, they don't fight gently, and they definitely don't let anyone use their name for a pity storyline. So when Meghan tried to twist Kris Jenner's birthday party into some kind of privacy violation scandal, the Kardashians were livid, and not privately either.
not give our consent, and you must take down these pictures because we were not aware that this would happen. Their leak implied that there were forms, and they explicitly said no, which is not the case.
Kris Jenner, who runs her empire like a Fortune 500 CEO, was reportedly furious. This wasn't some casual backyard hangout. It was her 70th birthday, the night meant to honor her legacy as the woman who built a billion-dollar dynasty from sheer hustle. And instead of celebrating her, the headlines pivoted to Meghan Markle complaining about photos she originally begged to be included in.
If you show up to a Kardashian production, you're part of the machine. And as I said, if you're standing and posing and you're there with people whose entire empire, you could call it.
Kim Kardashian, according to multiple whispers, didn't bother hiding her irritation. Kim has worked with presidents, billionaires, and movie studios. She understands PR better than anyone alive. Watching Meghan panic over harmless photos made Kim roll her eyes so hard she nearly levitated. The family saw Meghan's behavior for what it was: insecurity wrapped in victimhood.
Social media followers, reality/paparazzi sort of fueled fame that the Kardashians have.
And let's be honest, the Kardashians don't buy into this "we were wronged" narrative Meghan constantly pushes. They know the game. They built the game. What Meghan calls privacy, the Kardashians call branding. What Meghan calls manipulation, they call strategy. So watching her try to blame them? That was the final straw. Meghan didn't just annoy she disrespected the house that invented influence.
Over 20 seasons of a reality TV show, I think, between the family, across the entire family. And the entire family is part of this reality TV content creation situation.
If we're being brutally honest, the real disaster of the night wasn't the deleted photos. It was what the photos showed before they were wiped off the internet, like a bad tattoo. Meghan came dressed like she was auditioning for a role only she knew existed. She smiled so hard her jaw probably needed ice afterward.
This behavior by Harry and Meghan, and I quote, will not be forgotten and will not be forgiven. You don't mess with the Kardashians, who have everything. They have got good looks.
She posed like every angle had been practiced in the mirror. And yet, something still wasn't clicking. The outfit didn't land, the lighting wasn't forgiving, and her energy looked a little too desperate, like she was trying to convince the room to adore her. But Harry, Harry, he was the true spectacle.
Of course, they have other businesses going on like Skims and Kylie Cosmetics. Yeah, duh. But their main claim to fame, what got them in the door and what fuels the interest in them.
People couldn't stop talking about him. His eyes looked glazed, his posture slightly slumped, and he had this dazed smile that screamed, "I've had one drink too many, but I'm trying to behave." Social media immediately picked up on the vibe. Memes appeared within minutes. Screenshots circulated.
Their reality TV stuff and their social media stuff. And they are some of the most prolific content creators out there because of the longevity of their careers with their reality TV shows and their social media.
People speculated whether he was exhausted, overwhelmed, or just flat out tipsy. And then the most unforgiving clip of all surfaced. Harry staring at Kris Jenner with the kind of loose, unfocused admiration that only happens when a man isn't fully in control of his face. It was brutal.
Anybody would assume and reasonably understand that if you're going to be around the Kardashians, it may very well be content for them.
The Sussexes wanted glamour, but what the world saw was chaos. Meghan posing like the cameras owed her something, and Harry drifting through the night like an unsupervised groomsman at a wedding he didn't want to attend. No PR team could fix those visuals, so they tried to erase them, and that only made it worse.
Harry and Meghan have done. Have they met their match? And are Meghan's showbiz dreams now going up in smoke? So informal snapshots of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex chatting warmly with Kris Jenner and even Harry dancing towards her on the ballroom on the dance floor.
The moment the story hit the blogs, Meghan's team switched into full crisis mode, and you could practically hear the scrambling from Montecito reporters started getting those familiar clarifications. the kind Meghan's staff always sends when things go sideways. Suddenly, the narrative shifted overnight.
Take a photo with someone, then you're posing for a photograph that they own. Like, what are you thinking, Harry and Meghan? It's insane. Meghan tried to rewrite the narrative, and Kim hated that. It's not the only reason why the Kardashian...
Now, it wasn't Meghan wanting photos up and down like a broken light switch. No. It was all a misunderstanding, a privacy concern, a miscommunication. The usual polished excuses that sound believable until you look at the timeline and realize none of it adds up.
Is no longer a fan of the Duchess. I wonder if she ever really was. According to this source, the tension mounted between the two at the party when Markle politely but icily declined to film a simple greeting for the Kardashians on Hulu.
Meanwhile, the press wasn't playing along this time. Not one bit. Page 6 dismissed the excuses within hours. Alison Boshoff rolled her eyes publicly. Tom Bauer sharpened his pen. Even entertainment reporters, the friendliest corner of media, started poking holes in the Sussex version. Because here's the truth. When photos disappear mysteriously and the Kardashians aren't the ones deleting them, everyone knows drama is brewing.
Briefly appeared on social media before being abruptly wiped. So what happened is that Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian both had pictures for Harry and Meghan.
And the more Meghan's team tried to spin it, the worse it looked. Every new explanation contradicted the last one. Every source sounded shakier. Every attempt to pin the mess on the Kardashians made reporters dig harder. Hollywood may love a redemption arc, but it hates being lied to. And Meghan's little consent form story? That felt like a lie, seasoned with entitlement.
Sadly, in pretty much any area, because it feels very pompous. Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals. They're very distant from any and all royal connection at all.
The more the Sussexes tried to steer the narrative, the more obvious it became. They weren't victims of a PR disaster. They were the architects of it. And the media was tired of pretending otherwise.
The people at that party have real pedigree. So you've got Mark Zuckerberg. This is the guy that founded Facebook. Billions of people are on Facebook. This is a guy, it started as a platform for students at university to message each other, and it became...
Here's what most people don't realize. Kris Jenner's birthday wasn't just a party. It was a power map. Every person in that room was there for a reason. Alliances, networking, influence trading. Hollywood doesn't waste invitations. And Meghan walked in thinking she was the queen arriving to bless the kingdom, when in reality, she was just another piece on a board she didn't fully understand.
Treatment, the wanting the pictures taken down, all of these things are essentially diva behavior at this point because they are no longer part of something bigger than themselves. They are just themselves.
The Kardashians play the long game. Bezos plays the power game. Oprah plays the legacy game. Meghan, she plays the look at me game. And that's where everything went sideways.
So this feels very self-important and out of place for Meghan and Harry to behave this way. So of course it's going to make people feel turned off by them. That's what we've been witnessing for years now with Harry and Meghan.
While everyone else worked the room with quiet confidence, Meghan was performing, laughing too loudly, smiling too hard, positioning herself next to power players like she was stitching together a resume in real time. She wasn't mingling, she was campaigning, and the room noticed.
Try to dip their toe into certain groups, communities, settings, and they always make a fool of themselves and end up rejected or avoided by those groups forevermore because of the way they behave and act and this self-importantness.
Meanwhile, Harry wandered around like he was trying to locate the exit but didn't want to cause a scene. His discomfort was obvious. Hollywood is built on social instinct, and Harry didn't have any that night Meghan overplayed her hand. And Harry didn't know how to cover it.
Just silly, especially when you think about, for the Kardashians, like it or not, are very successful. And they have built a lot of that themselves. Of course, they had a lot of access and a lot of help along the way and publicity, things like that from various connections.
And then came the photo meltdown, the ultimate Hollywood sin. No one deletes party photos unless they're spiraling. It signaled insecurity, instability, and worst of all, neediness. 3 traits the industry avoids like a contagious rash.
Well, People magazine, long viewed as the Sussex's preferred publication, it's like The Guardian, right? It's the in-house newsletter of Harry and Meghan. My husband.
The Sussexes came trying to prove they still had star power, but instead, they revealed the truth. They weren't playing the celebrity game, they were being played by it.
That no images of them be taken inside the James Bond-themed bash.
Hollywood has a memory, and it doesn't forget the people who make scenes, especially when those scenes involve the Kardashians. Meghan and Harry's drama over Kris Jenner's 70th birthday photos wasn't just a momentary embarrassment. It's the kind of story that lingers, spreads, and quietly affects future invites, collaborations, and access. In Hollywood, reputations are fragile currency, and the Sussexes just overdrafted theirs.
Is that they requested no images of them taken inside the party. Well, first of all, if that's true, which I can't say it is because I don't believe anything Harry and Meghan say, but if that were true,
sources whisper that future invitations could be limited, particularly for Meghan. A single misstep in front of Kris Jenner's cameras is one thing, causing weeks of gossip and controlling the narrative is another. Other A-listers are watching, mentally noting who causes problems, who overplays their hand, who can't navigate the delicate balance of visibility and discretion. And Meghan, with her penchant for theatrics, just painted a neon target on her back.
That what the Kardashians have done is broken an agreement that no photos will be taken. I would say to Harry and Meghan, get over yourself. How dare you go to this massive party?
The fallout isn't just about social exclusion. It's about perception. The public sees the deleted photos, the conflicting stories, the so-called consent forms, the media narrative of Meghan as overly controlling, image-obsessed, and manipulative gains traction. In celebrity culture, perception often outweighs reality, and every overreaction, every contradictory statement, every tantrum about photos feeds that perception.
Which features some of the most important and powerful people in the world, and try to call the shots and say, I'm sorry, no photographs, please. I'm far too beautiful for the lens. How dare they?
Please don't take my photograph because I really crave my privacy. That's right. That's why we did a book all about my life in which I revealed crazy details about my family.
By trying to control the room, control the cameras, and control the story, Meghan and Harry inadvertently confirmed their harshest critics' worst suspicions. They can't relax, they can't be discreet, and they can't stop themselves from becoming the story. In Hollywood, that's a dangerous reputation to earn, and one that doesn't fade overnight.
Which is the home of Hollywood. That's why I wanted privacy. That's why I went to California. And that's why I did a TV show called Harry and Meghan, in which I called my family a bunch of, that was the Oprah interview, in which I called them a bunch of racists. And the Harry and Meghan documentary, in which my wife mocked the memory of Elizabeth II. I wanted to be private.
In trying to manipulate the narrative, the Sussexes revealed more about themselves than they probably intended. They wanted to be admired, envied, and talked about, but they also wanted the safety of invisibility when the scrutiny turned uncomfortable. Hollywood doesn't grant that. You can't have it both ways. And the Kardashians? They're ruthless in their defense of their brand. They don't suffer liars lightly, and Meghan's little stunt was exactly the kind of public overreach that leaves long-term bruises.
That these two charlatans, these wrong-uns, these right royal numpties.
The lesson is crystal clear. In a world built on exposure, your image is never entirely yours. Trying to erase a moment only amplifies it. Trying to manipulate powerful media players only paints you as untrustworthy. And trying to control a narrative in a room full of cameras, celebrities, and social media addicts will backfire spectacularly. And Meghan went in thinking she could play Hollywood like a chessboard. Instead, she became the pawn. The photos might be gone, but the reputation hit is permanent. And in this battle, Meghan went crazy. And make no mistake, she lost.